Hey, I have an idea.
Hi, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and it's Monday, September the 25th, 2017, and this is vlog number 37. So, what have I been up to this week? Well, a lot of different things. You may have seen this. I did one of my first live broadcasts featuring my idea book and how I collect my ideas and things like that. So I've created this and I'm giving it a try. And if you watch that video that I did live, you will see different methods I've used over time to collect my ideas. So this is just another one. I'm giving it a try and we'll see what happens. What else have I been doing? Looking at my notes here. Yeah, I mentioned live broadcasts. So last week I experimented with a couple of live broadcasts and you can see them on my station or on my channel. They're there. And yeah, it's kind of a format that I'd been holding back on giving a try because I wasn't sure what I would talk about. Still not. But I kind of like doing the live broadcasts. Now, the first couple, I didn't have that many people on there, but that was okay. It was an experiment, and as time goes by, maybe I'll have a few more. I just have to figure out what the best time of day is to get to make this accessible to the most users. And since everybody comes from all over around the world, well, I guess there's no time that's really a good time. If it's a nice time here in the morning for me, it'll be midnight for someone on the other side of the world. So whatever, but I'm having fun with that. And Walter and I did our first live broadcast together last Friday night, and a lot of you tuned in for that, and a lot more of you have watched the video after it got posted. I think from the comments that I've read, it was fairly successful. So I think we're going to give it a try again, and we're going to see if we can make it a regular thing. Usually on a Friday night, in around 6:30 is probably when we're going to broadcast. If you want notification of when we go live, make sure that you've clicked the notification bell icon that's very near where it says to subscribe, and you'll get notifications when we go live and also of any other new videos that I put up. So if you want to see last week's live with Stephen and Walter, just go to the links below. I've put a link in there for it, and just click on that and it'll take you there. And we answered a lot of questions last week. It was a fairly long broadcast. It ran an hour and a half. I hadn't really intended to go that long, but it was kind of fun to do it. So, and we're sitting there having our champagne and whatnot. So I think this week we're going to make it a little bit more structured. We may answer some more questions as well that people have. And if you have any questions, you can post them below here if you'd like us to handle those on the live broadcast. Also, we're looking for topics to discuss. And I think we'll maybe pick a topic or two that has come out of some of the questions we've already been asked, and maybe elaborate a little bit more on the answers we gave to those as well. We're full of stories, lots of stories to tell. So anyways, that's coming up. That's this Friday, so I hope you can tune in for that. I've been working on a portfolio for OAA, which is the Oshawa Arts Association. And I'll say more about that later on in today's vlog because I want to talk a little bit about that association. I did an art journal page this week as well. I haven't done one in a bit. So this is my art journal page, and I think that one turned out pretty neat. I'm using Mike Deacon's digital downloads, which he just put out his bunch for Halloween. And I really like his digital downloads as well because they're really quite neat, and I try to use them a lot. I have some other things from Mike Deacon I want to show you, but later on. The other thing I want to show you is my napkins. Okay, I've been making napkins. Now, you've heard me talk about learning how to use my serger, and I've had a lot of fun with that, and I'm still learning it. But I was looking for material for napkins. Now, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but basically, this material came from Michael's. It was pretty. I like blue. And it's in one of those fat quarters or whatever they call it. They're about 18 inches by 21 inches, something like that. I just left them as they were, serged the edges. They've been in the washing machine once. After I got them sewn, I threw them in the washing machine, and I have used one of these already, and it's sitting now in my dirty clothes waiting to be laundered. So we'll see how that works out, how these stand up to washing. But if they do okay, that's an easy way to make napkins. Virtually no cutting. Just put it through your serger as it is and you got napkins. But we'll see how they are in terms of stain resistance and that kind of thing. Okay, and I attempted to do a watercolor, an abstract watercolor. I had seen Marta on Marmy Small Art do this, and basically what she does is she lays down some watercolor paints randomly, let them blossom out. She adds water to them on a piece of watercolor cardstock, and then she looks for little patterns and things in it, and she draws around those and doodles and whatnot, and basically you've got a neat piece of art. Well, I thought I'd try it as well. I'm nowhere near as good as what Marta is, but actually, although this might be a little juvenile, I kind of like it for some reason. I don't know. I've actually taken a couple of photographs of it. I'll make them into cards as well, but I think it's kind of different. It's kind of fun to do. It's very whimsical. So I don't know what you think, but yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Okay, what are we going to move on to next? Okay, YouTube channel of the week. This is by a girl here in Canada. She lives in Toronto, so she's only, 40 minutes away from me, from where I live. And it's called My Creative Art.
This week's YouTube channel is called Kiss My Creative. The young lady who runs this channel lives in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, not very far from me. And I've had the pleasure of speaking with her during one of my first live broadcasts. Her site is very interesting because there's an awful lot of great ideas, very professionally made videos, and there's a variety of topics. And you can see she looks at junk journaling, mixed media, collaging, pamphlet stitching, even looks at Montreal Art Supply Hall and various other things like a mixed media zine. So really, she's full of ideas, and I'm sure she'll inspire you as well. So do check out Kiss My Creative.
So as I said, she's a local lady, and she's got some really neat stuff. So do check her out. Now, other links that I have below. I have her linked below here as well. I've also got my first live broadcast and my Collecting Ideas live broadcast as well as linked there. I got my Easy Press last week, and I did a video, an unboxing video. I think it's the first unboxing video I've ever done. And so you can check that video out as well. It is actually a really good tool, especially if you're going to if you make a lot of t-shirts or things like that where you're putting iron on vinyl. I think it's worth the money to buy it. It's, as I say in the review, it wasn't a cheap toy, and I'm not sure personally how much use I'm going to get out of it, but I'm going to attempt a little bit more iron on vinyl. I just don't wear t-shirts, so it's going to have to go on other things. But you can put iron on vinyl on paper, other things, so I'll look around for some other ideas. So that video is linked below as well. I have our first Stephen and Walter live. That one is linked below as well. And I did two videos on Sunday. One on using pan pastels with Versamark embossing ink and Oxide inks to create backgrounds. And I did another one of that art journal page I just showed you that I take you through the process of what I was doing with that. So, and all those links are below. Lots of things there to see. All right, so that takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, until yesterday, I really didn't have anything for this segment because I couldn't think of anything that was really pissing me off this week. And lo and behold, I saw on Facebook somebody post it. It was actually a letter posted by P-Flag. P-Flag not fly, PFLAG is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. They've been around for many, many years. There's chapters of them in most major cities. And they do a lot of work, especially in the education field, to educate people about LGBTQ issues. Well, they wrote, our local chapter of it in my area wrote an open letter to our police force because apparently a member of our police force said something that was very inappropriate to some, and if I get it right, student police officers, people, in training to become police officers. Very inappropriate. The essence of it is that he basically said something very derogatory towards the LGBT community, and he also double whammied it with a misogynistic comment about women as well. Really. So what am I pissed off about? Well, I'm pissed off with people in public life who are supposed to be there with the best interests of the public at heart, doing stupid things. I wonder if this has all come out because of the way Trump in the United States tends to tweet off the cuff all the time and say really, things that are not politically correct. But to get back to the police, they've gotten a really bad rap in the last year or so, all across North America. There's been riots because they've shot someone from another race. They've beaten up people. The media gets a hold of this, and you don't know how much of this has been embellished. You don't know how much of it's taken out of context or anything. And I would like to believe that people, the majority of individuals who become police officers, are doing it because they want to serve and protect our community. I want to believe that. But boy, what you see on the news is making this very difficult to believe. But this particular individual that made these comments, what's with this? It's not so much that he made the comment. Well, yes, it is so much he made the comment. It's the way this is being swept under the rug by his superiors and by the court system. If I was to stand up in front of a bunch of people and say, like in a classroom, and say what he said, I would be reprimanded severely. Why is it then that the police think they can get away with this kind of thing? Now, grant you, their job is difficult. I wouldn't want to do their job. I mean, you're facing the scum of the earth on a daily basis. Criminals, drug addicts, you name it. And that's got to take a toll on you personally, I think. I mean, emotionally, mentally, the whole bit. So maybe they can be excused for occasionally forgetting to be politically correct and something slips out. We've all done it. However, they can't afford to do that. We need to have confidence in our police force. Really. The police force is there for a reason. It is to protect us. It is to make sure that the laws that are there to protect us, to make us all play nice together, are being upheld. And to bring those people who decide that the law is not for them and they can make their own rules and, jeopardize the order in our society, they're to bring them to justice. But who's bringing the cops to justice? Now, you've got groups out there like Black Lives Matter that, at a turn of a hat are after them all the time. And I do not totally agree with what that group stands for, but that's for a discussion, a much more detailed discussion some other time, and I don't want to get too political in this. But this whole thing with the cops, I don't know what to believe anymore, and that's pissing me off. I do believe that the police are protecting their own. I mean, I understand that. I don't know if that's right, if they should be doing that, but it's going to happen. There's no two ways about it. But come on, there's something lacking in their training if they are not aware of what is coming out of their mouth and how that's going to affect the general community around them. Really. This brings me back to what kind of people may go into the police force. And I would like to say, as I said before, I'm going to step on some toes here, I would like to say that people who enter the police force are there because they really want to serve the general public good. But I went to high school with several guys who wanted to become cops or security people. And they weren't doing it for those reasons. All they could talk about was the fact they were going to get a gun and they were going to learn how to take down people physically and this. They were power tripping. And some of them actually did become cops, and they're not good cops. They're really not. They use the power that's been invested into them, and they're misusing it and have misused it. So, but every profession has a bad apple in it. My profession, as a teacher, yes, we had some in our profession too that were not a good example to the rest of the teaching community. Every job has a bad apple or two in it, and I suppose we should be spending more time focusing on the good ones than on the bad ones. But of course, if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead in the media world. So they're only going to look for the negative, not the positive. And, you know, you see enough of this on TV that you're beginning to think that every cop is corrupt. And I'm pretty sure that's not true. But nevertheless, this man's comments were offensive, and I hope he is disciplined appropriately for it. The only thing is, I think he'll only get a mild slap on the wrist, and this is not going to deter him from doing it again. And he will do it again. And he's passing this behavior on to those that he's also teaching. So future generations of law enforcement agents are going to pick up on that attitude, and it could grow from there. So there's the danger. Anyways, what's pissing me off this week? What's pissing me off is that people who work in the public eye, who are supposed to be there for our good, are not living up to those expectations. And they have to. They need to. That's their job. Anyways, enough of that for this week. Let's move on. Technique tips and product reviews. Well, I told you that Mike Deacon, I got some more of his stencils and his laser cuts. And you know that I buy all of his stuff when it comes out. So at least I know that Mike Deacon is going to be able to eat, because I'm paid for it. So his two latest stencils for Halloween, haven't even taken them out of the package yet. Web and these bats. Now I think these are quite cute, and I'm going to try to incorporate these into a thing that I'm working on as a little. It was going to be boxes for Halloween, but I've changed my mind. It's going to be a canvas now, and you may see that by the end of the week. I'm not sure. I'm having to work on it in bits and pieces, and I also intend to use these as well. Spider web and skulls, and this one has more skulls and spooky frame and some bats and things in here as well. So these are good. And these are very reasonably priced. I think with the exchange rate and you put in shipping, it may have cost me $8 for one package of these. And there's quite a few pieces in them. And he has other things on his website too, in stencils and in laser cuts. So do check it out, as well as his digital downloads, because those are really good. Okay, so that was new. And I got the Easy Press, and as I said, there's a link below doing an unboxing with that. Okay. What's next on here? All right, let's talk about my inspiration list of ideas this week. I've got 3 ideas for you, and I've actually tried these 3, and I have made a video of these as well. So you can go to the link below and you can check those out. Basically, they were background techniques. So one of them is to use your pan pastels or any kind of pastels that you may have, and you basically lay down some color from those onto your background piece, whatever it is, cardstock, watercolor paper. Then you take take a rubber stamp and a Versamark ink pad, which is an embossing ink pad, a clear embossing ink pad, and stamp onto your pan pastels. And then you can take another color of pan pastel or just a makeup sponge without any color on it and rub over top of where you've done the embossing powder. And what will happen is that acts sort of as a resist. It'll pick up some of the color you're using from either the background or from what you've put additionally on your cosmetic sponge. But it's kind of a neat technique. You You can also do, and this one was a little bit difficult. I need to review where I got to figure out where I found this. I saw it on somebody's. It may have been Nina Rabina or it might have been Bella Rose. I'm not sure. One of those two, I think, did this. They basically took StazOn ink and covered their background with StazOn ink. And then they put a layer of Oxide inks in various colors on top of that, then spritzed it with some water, and that made the watermarks because the Oxide inks are reactive to water. The StazOn inks are not. They're a solvent ink. So whatever's underneath the Oxide is going to show up once you hit it with the water, dabble some of it away and get the watermarks. So it's kind of a neat technique, and I tried it on both a smooth piece of watercolor cardstock and a rough piece, and there is a difference between the two. The third technique I have not yet tried, but I think I may have tried this sometime in the past. Basically, you take a stencil and lay down matte medium through your stencil, let it dry thoroughly, and then go over your whole background with pan pastels. And again, the gel medium will act as a resist, so you'll get this interesting texture that will emerge from your background. So those are 3 techniques this week you might want to give a try. And as I said, I've done 2 out of the 3 that I've just mentioned, and I have a video below about my experiments. So, what events in the past week? Well, I mentioned last week that I was going to go downtown Oshawa and rediscover it. It's my city, but I never go downtown Oshawa, and I thought, you know, it's changed a lot over the last few years. Let's take a look. I also want to go downtown Oshawa and check out Gallery 67. Now, I mentioned that this is an art group. The Oshawa Art Association has their own gallery now in one of the banquet rooms in the new Holiday Inn Express that's also downtown Oshawa. So, I went down, I explored the streets of Oshawa, and I explored Oshawa Gallery 67, okay? And I've got a little video insert here that I'm going to put in right now so you can see Oshawa. So today I'm taking a little mini tour of downtown Oshawa. This, of course, is the RMG, which is the Robert McLaughlin Art Gallery. This is where I spend a great deal of my time here. And right across the street are 2 important buildings. City Hall is the brown building, and the Revenue building, when Walter used to work there years ago, is the white building. And right around here, on this side, is the Robert McLaughlin Library, or the Oshawa Library. And we'll just come around by this end of it. Downtown Oshawa has a lot of churches. As you can see, there's one fine example. And this, of course, is the library right here. I'll just stop for a minute and just pan around. It's a really nice day today for September. And here's the front of the art gallery. So we're going to carry on and go down to the downtown business district. And this is the main 4 corners of Oshawa. And we're going to head north here. There's lots of little kitschy places to eat along here. This is one. It's called a Mustache Club. It has a rooftop balcony. Education for UIOT, which is the University Institute of Ontario something. And this building is the Armory, and it's also a museum inside as well of military paraphernalia, tanks, guns, things like that. Supposedly it has an interactive kind of display that you can download an app to your phone, and you can walk up to certain things and they come to life on your screen, which is kind of cool. Actually, in all the years I've lived here, I've never been in there, but then again, I'm not that much interested in the military. And this is the new Holiday Inn Express right downtown, and we're going across the street to the Gallery 67 right over there, but we'll take a look up the way here. and follow this along down this way. Get a shot of the downtown. So here we are, we're going into Gallery 67. I don't know if I can take pictures while we're here. This is the forum for the Oshawa Art Gallery Association. So I was just inside Gallery 67, and I'm sorry I couldn't take any pictures in there. I didn't really ask if I could or not, but a lot of the stuff is for sale, and I don't know if the artists themselves would have appreciated me taking any video of it since they weren't there to give their permission, so I didn't. But I talked to a few people in there, and I'm going to look into volunteering here, maybe doing a few classes for them, whatnot. Looks like a really nice environment, and I've got a membership form, and it's about $40 until the end of 2018. And I'll let you show your stuff here as well and do other things. So I might really get a little bit more involved with it all. So I'm going to head back down to the car now. This is a back streets of Oshawa. As you can see here, we're behind the Armory. And we'll just carry on. Across the streets, the gluten-free bakery. And I had some of the cookies the other day at the art gallery during one of our meetings, and they were really good. So I'm going to go in and see if I can get some more. So that was downtown Oshawa, and we're back to the art gallery. It's kind of surprising what's down there when you haven't explored it before, but now I felt like a tourist and I've seen it all. Okay, so that was pretty quick. Part of the reason that video, some of the inserts went really fast, is because I accidentally hit fast speed on my camera when I was doing the video and didn't realize it until after the fact. So I thought, well, makes it interesting. So anyways, you saw the outside of Gallery 67. So I went in. And I was asking them about volunteer opportunities, teaching classes, checking it out. And yeah, I think I've got the name of the contact person. And later today, I'm going to contact her and find out about whether or not I'll be able to teach a mixed media or an art journaling class there for them. They seem to want a variety of classes, and they sound really keen on the idea, the people I was speaking to that day there about it. Plus, I'll probably join. It's $40 a year to join. But that gives you the added benefit of being able to actually show your art and sell it right there in Gallery 67. I don't know if I will do that or not, because I don't know if my stuff is sellable, really. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm not sure anybody would want to buy it. But I am going to check out teaching maybe some classes with them. But in the meantime, I've created a portfolio that shows some of my work, and I'm hoping I'll be able to arrange a meeting with the person that coordinates all this and sort of show what I do, and, you know, take in my art journals as well, and see if this is the kind of thing that they're looking for. I'll probably volunteer with them as well, and I think you go down and just hang out at Gallery 67 in case people come in. I don't think it gets really terribly busy, and in fact, one person said she just brings along her artwork and works on it while she's there, so that's okay too. They actually have an open studio on Tuesdays where artists can come in with their stuff, and they've got a huge work area up there, big tables set out in that, and I guess you just go in there and you can work on whatever you're working on. So that's kind of neat. And given the fact that things have been restructured at the art gallery now in terms of giving educational tours, I think I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands to do a little bit more volunteer work with this other group. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, so as I also said, Friday night, Walter and I did our first live broadcast, and the link is below. We're going to do another one this Friday, and actually it was kind of fun to do it. So, you know, it's a different dimension than doing these kind of videos. It's a little bit more personal, I think, a little more intimate, because people are actually talking with you and asking questions at the same time as you're broadcasting. Still got a few bugs in that to work out or to get used to, but we'll work on that. So what have I got coming up? Well, today, later on, I have a curatorial talk at the art gallery, all new displays, and although I'm not giving educational tours right now because of the restructuring, I am still doing nutshell tours on RMG Fridays once a month, so I have to get in there and learn about all the new stuff in the installation. So that should be interesting today, because it's got some really interesting stuff happening there. And the big news of the week. As of Friday this week, Walter retires. It's his last day of work. He's actually they're having a retirement luncheon for him tomorrow, Tuesday. but his official last day is this coming Friday. I think he's feeling a little disoriented right now about it. You know, at the end of one life, the start of a new life, kind of a thing. And when you've been doing the same job for 30 years or whatever, longer maybe, it's takes some time to get used to. A totally different way of doing your life, your schedules, things like that. Those of you that are retired know what I mean. I know, I've been retired now 5 years. Hard to believe how the time's gone by. But there was a good year when I was very not sure of what I should be doing or whatnot. So it takes some time to get used to that new lifestyle, but it's a great lifestyle to get used to. I can tell you that. So, yeah. So Friday night, if we do a Stephen and Walter live, be a great night on that one. We'll be celebrating Walter's retirement. So join us. Okay, and just a final note. I want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting my live broadcasts. I mean, I'm still playing with it, as you know, but thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for being patient while I learn how to use this technology. And I'm hoping that this is going to become much more of a regular feature and just another dimension where, I can be in contact with you. So I thank you for that. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you have a good week, and we may see you Friday night live. And if not, well, I'll be talking to you next Monday as well. Okay, bye-bye for now.